Again, dear colleagues and friends, I am entrusted with the most difficult task to moderate the final presentation of the day, to wrap up the day successfully. But it gets even more challenging because here I will need your help. And I mean it. It's not just figurative. I will speak about a very interesting event that we held some months ago with a set of subnational parliaments, Brazilian ones. And today I'm going to present the results. But in order for the science, the scientific collaboration to make sense, we need feedback. So what I will do today is for the next roughly half an hour, I will present the main results of this study, and I will confront you with these results. And I will ask you about your honest opinion, why it is so, and maybe not differently. This is important for our research, and kindly note that it is possible that not namely, but your opinion might be included in our written scientific research. So let's do this. I will start with a few general information, and then maybe that's the previous one. Could you please place the other presentation? It's the two. So let me talk for about a minute about this study, what we did. We prepared, we invited, first of all, a great number of Brazilian legislators to take part of our research. The research was about prioritizing artificial intelligence for the local legislatures. So once again, this was not targeted for national parliaments. It was targeted research for subnational legislatures. Why is it important? Well, I mean, and don't get me wrong about this, there are not too many people in the world that care about parliaments, and that there are even less that care about subnational legislatures. So it makes sense to target at least some of our energy and scientific rigor towards the subnational legislatures. No. So let me now tell you what this research specifically was about. With a team, roughly now it's more or less 5 years ago, we designed what we call an agenda for implementing artificial intelligence in parliaments. This agenda has 210, kindly have in mind more than 200 potential applications of artificial intelligence. And these 200 potential applications, thank you very much, are divided or are grouped, let's say, in 9 clusters. You know these very well. Parliamentarians, so you will see them later on. Oversight, legislation, administration, open questions, and so on. So clusters of different applications in Parliament that we already know. These are some excerpts of the video sessions when we held this workshop. We call it interactive workshop because we interacted with the local with the regional parliaments in order to collect this evaluations. We use a special software. It's called XLeap. Imagine it as Microsoft Teams, but where included or incorporated, there is also a secondary or primary tool to implement surveys. So we put our questions, 210 potential applications into this tool, and people could click and evaluate within the application. Very, very cool. We did it in, we had it bilingual, English and Portuguese. And there were 16 practitioners and participants taking part in this research from 5 different parliamentary sectors. Now, what did we evaluate? So, as I said, that's very important for you to know, because you will ask to try to tell your opinion about the results. For each potential application, let's say there are 200, more than 200. Let's say apply AI on today's topic for driving forward citizens' engagement. Something very general. We asked these people 2 things. First, for this application, how do you grade the relevance? So from 1 to 10, is it super relevant? I need it now. I need it. I want it. So it's 10. I don't care about this. It's 1. And additionally, we asked about the prioritization in terms of how quickly do you need that? From now, time 0, till 10 years. So we put a 10-year range. And these are some results. As said, from on a scale from 0 to 10, 5 had above 9.2. 10 had above 9, and so on. Today, we're not going to go into all this. It's too much. It's huge. The amount of data that we generated, it's amazing. We are going to dedicate ourselves to the top priorities and the top choices, so that it actually makes sense what we are going to say and evaluate. Okay, now let's see the first table. This is overall, over all 200 and plus 210 proposals. These are the ones that have the highest relevance. So we need them most of all. We here is the local parliaments of Brazil. Who are they? Kindly check them out. The number 1 of all, we want reliable decision-making systems, also guaranteed by AI services. We need training and hiring of new staff in the IT department. So as you see, some are applications like decision-making systems. Some are more generic. So we need training and new stuff. Number 3, we need intelligent AI-based search functions in the front end. 4, smart law. We need a collection of all coded laws with a possibility of AI interpretation. 5, we need AI-based creation of texts and drafts based on parameters. We need transparency through open linked data. We need AI-based drafting systems. We need to ensure that data quality is fit for purpose. We need to ensure that parliaments can reach many through its representative function. And the top 10, final in this top 10 list, we need intelligent examination of legislative proposals for interactions with further regulations. Now the floor is yours. What do you think of this? Do you think that this is plausible? Do you think that this is reasonable? Do you think that this is the pure let's say, shuffle? And maybe if we ask these questions again, a different top 10 will emerge. What is your opinion? Kindly take the floor and tell us about this. As I said, it's very important for us. Of course, us as researchers could go there and try to implement or try to evaluate these results. But this is wrong because our background is different. I mean, I'm from the Hellenic Parliament. It's not possible for me to get into the place of these people. So we need you to try to think as them. What would you think for local Brazilian legislatures? Does this make sense to you, and why? And why not, if it's not the case? Please. Mainly the Brazilian colleagues, I would say. But okay, I mean, it will be evaluated. It will be also evaluated. I mean, as said, a European colleague can say anything about that, and it has its significance, but okay. I will go further because the results will come again in a different setup. We will bring some more results according to each cluster. So let's move forward. It will come again. We won't lose this. Now, the first table was about the relevance. So how relevant is it to you? In this case, to them, the regional assemblies. Now, the second big table is about when you want it. So this creates a parameter space along two axes. So we will plot this and we will see what this means. And the implementation was here from December 2025, so now, till May 2030. Let's see the results now for the implementation, and this is it. So now these people wanted to have a chatbot. Yesterday, actually. They number two is also similar. A general chat box or a specific, maybe for the web, and maybe a specific chatbot for the internal parliamentary services. Number three, in terms of when they want it, is AI-based automatic text and speech. So speech-to-text facilitation. Four is it's about what parliaments mean for the infrastructure of the state, how important they are. This is a more European approach. It's even European legislation about critical infrastructure. Then we need cybersecurity. We mentioned it several times today. Cybersecurity software, AI-based. Training, you see it again. Of course, some points are equally relevant and quickly to be implemented. Then we need AI-based drafting systems. Then we need entrance control. This is for the security, based on AI. Then AI authentication services in parliamentary IT systems. And finally, intelligent AI-based search functions. It's similar to the previous one, but now I'm moving on so that we actually get to the top threes, because top 10 is already a bit too much. And this is it. And here I really want, it's 9 clusters, 9 tables like this. And I would need your opinions, approaches to each one of them. Number one, it's the cluster of the parliamentarians, meaning services, AI-based services, applications, whatever, to serve MPs. And number one was use of text analytics, okay, for documents, apparently. Number two is predictive analytics for MPs, again, to predict patterns and anything. And number three was smarter MP, AI-based services to support MPs in Parliament and in the constituency. The floor is yours here. What do you think about this? Makes sense? Would you have something else here as top relevance? What do you think about this? Would your parliament have it differently? Daniel, floor is yours.
So I'm struggling with this a bit. If I were looking at this, One, I wouldn't have the question about AI. It would be focused on the needs of the parliament and then to sort them, whether they fall within AI or not.
Okay.
And I would look at some sort of matrix of costs and time for the parliamentarians, or even more depending on the needs of the users who are trying to get into touch. So I just from where I am, like I'm struggling with this.
So this is one step before that. So before going into implementation and any types of assessment, cost, whatever, we have to prioritize what we need. So what they did is, based on this huge list and specific for the cluster around parliamentarians, they prioritized here 3 applications. Now, if we confirm this, well, if this will go back to them, and they will be confronted with that, and they will have their say. So they can go to their leadership and say, through a structured process, we prioritize this. It has its meaning. So it's usually this kind of technology implementation comes from top down. Somebody comes and says, okay, we need to implement text analytics. And and Parliament goes along this way. This came from the needs of the Parliament, coming from bottom up. So the people prioritize these 3, and they think that this is more relevant for their parliaments, the local parliaments. And our job is here to discuss plausibility, to discuss, as independent analysis and evaluation, if this makes sense at all. Maybe it's rubbish. It doesn't, and we don't need to take it into account at all. So it has its meaning. That's what we want to do here: an independent evaluation of this this first level of analysis. Is it clearer now what we attempt to do?
What you're saying is clear. Not working at a subnational parliament, not working in Brazil, I couldn't evaluate what members of the local parliaments would think would be most useful for them. These don't make sense to me. But,
Okay.
But I'm not in that context.
So you think that they don't make sense? Why? Is it not? Are there other applications that are more urgent for parliamentarians? So why don't they make sense to you?
So my starting point would be, if I am a local parliamentarian, what am I spending most of my day on? Is it high value or low value work? What are the things that I can do to automate or address the low value work? Are there trustworthy ways to address those things? And then, and then of those things that remain that should be automated, with limited resources, what is accomplishable among that? Like I would sort through it in that way.
And text analytics or predictive analytics doesn't get into this? I mean, how are you going to streamline all this incredible, you mentioned it in your presentation, this additional burden that you have in terms of volume of work? How are you going to handle this without, so why is this not relevant? I mean, I do get it that some other applications of AI might be even more important than these. Of course, this is a matter of prioritization. But why is this not relevant? Do you think that they won't matter in the end for MPs' offices? This is not direct for MPs, but for their offices.
Well, I'm trying to extrapolate from my experience with my local parliament, and significant amounts of time for my local representatives are spent dealing with email communications, right? They're overwhelmed by the volume of communications that they receive. They don't have the capability to understand the legislative proposals or to draft them appropriately.
Okay.
They have great challenge finding natural allies for their legislation and managing the political process. And when I speak with them, those seem to be more of the issues. Like and for them, they operate for a quarter of the year. So they're not doing this 3/4 of the year and then a quarter of the year they're in session. So
Fair enough.
that's from my background.
Fair enough. Is there anybody else who wants to address this, or shall we move on to the next table? So let's move to the next table. So that's a very, well, all clusters are important. That's legislation, people. And let's see the top three proposals around legislation. So reliable decision-making systems, all somehow supported by AI. Collection of laws, of coded laws, with the possibility of AI interpretation, and AI-based creation of text. This is probably generative, and draft based on various parameters. So this is what these people want for their regional assemblies. Any comments or considerations on that? What would you say? Does it make sense? Or do you think that potentially other applications might be more important? That's what we evaluate now. By the way, since I recall the figure, in this cluster there were 36 proposals. So these are 3 out of 36. Of course, legislation is very complex across very many regimes. These are 3 of the potential applications out of 36 that draw most of the attention. What would the Brazilian colleagues say about this? What do you think? Do you think that it makes sense? So it's generative AI here. Of course, it's collection of laws structured, maybe across a command also, plus some AI functionality for anything in between. And then it's decision-making systems, also supported by AI. Of course, decision-making systems is a long story. It's not have to do with AI necessarily. Monica, would you like to share some thoughts?
Yes, so probably another very important group of application is monitoring policy.
Bravo. This is missing completely.
My perspective looking for and the evaluation of many parliaments is that many goals are moving to the policy monitoring to understand using AI the impact on the society, or to predict or to detect needs connected with the policy.
Yeah.
And to check if the legislation implement properly the policy.
Interesting. I will check. I said where this lie monitoring in this huge list. Maybe it's farther below. I will check again. Anybody else before we move to the next slide? Let's do it. Now, that's okay. It's oversights, control, and others. Algorithmic checks here. It can be ante ex post. Algorithm reviews of legislative evaluation reports. Okay, and AI-based media analysis. This is the communication regime also with citizens. Would you like to share some thoughts here? Does this mean plausible to you? Are you missing something, as said earlier? What would you say here? I remind you, this is the top 3 of many, usually more than a dozen potential applications. Are you missing anything here in control? Monica, again?
Yes, is missing also the public consultation and detection of the needs of the citizen. So inside of the media, there is another important goal that is a goal by political, not only to have a control of fake news, but also to collect the needs of the citizen addressed to the parliament.
Thank you. Another comment? Let's move to number 4. So, education. This was asked a lot to include education in general in this kind of evaluations. 3 top choices: intelligent AI-based search functions in the front end of the Parliament's website, transparency, and capacity building regarding AI. Okay, are you missing something, or is something out of these 3 that seems awkward to you? What would you say? This is civic education and engagement. Daniel?
Maybe public-facing explanations of legislation under consideration. Like, what is
Okay.
it that they're debating?
Okay. What would you say is missing here, if anything, or something that should not be there? I mean, it's equally important. We have here search in the front end, in the website. We have transparency. This is, of course, interlinked. And then we have capacity building, which I don't think somebody would challenge this. Next, 5, parliamentary administration. This is us, more or less. AI-based systems.
On the previous one, maybe. Yeah, it's just a small comment on civic education, and it relates also something that was mentioned by Joao previously. Where what we did when we created Archibot in the Parliament, that it was not only a tool, but it was part of a project. And the purpose was to ensure public access for archives of the European Parliament. But these tools request to be understood in order to be used. So how it works, what are the limitations, what kind of document. And this specific tool, for one of its purpose, was to be used in context at the university. What was the intent is to join a master degree, which is prepared at the University of Luxembourg, in order to participate in modern history. And within the master in modern history, to have one of the modules which is dedicated to the history of the European institutions.
Yes.
And to reuse this tool as part of the module within this environment, so that students may have an access to the documents, and that other teachers from other modules within modern history could also relate to this one, so that they can perform their own search, but being introduced to the tool. So knowing how it will be used. And then the purpose is also to share with other students and to tell around, and then to teach through the students, generation after generation, that some documents are available. And one of the main drivers is that right now, very few people cares about the history of the European institutions and European Foundation. Nobody cares about. It was very interesting when, after 30 years of 1952, the very first documents were released. So there was a huge interest in the creation of the European institutions and the European project. And then after, nobody cared, and everybody is going back to the Middle Age. I don't know why in Europe everybody is focusing on the Middle Age, but that's the main point of interest. So we tried to come back and to show that, okay, in history, what are people interested, or what is financed by the ministries, because it's also quite important when you're at the university. And say, okay, about gender equality, about the sustainability, so a set of thematics. And the purpose was to show that through this module and the use of our solution, you may see what was performed by the European institutions on the thematics that you're currently studying with an historical process. So the purpose to use this tool is to support education, but through mediation. So you are introducing something. This is not something I see or I feel within the 3 priorities, but the fact, as Joao introduced, to explain to students how to use a tool is pretty important so they can make use of these sources, which are parliamentary sources. You control them. They know what are the limitations and how to use the systems or any of the systems you would provide, and then they benefit from their own education.
Thank you very much, Ludovic. So let's move to the last four. Parliamentary administration, AI-based. So this is classic. In the meantime, speech to text and vice versa. AI-based cybersecurity, as mentioned by Sarah, very important, and virtual AI assistance for the disabled. So this is to support also the citizens' engagement and advanced parliamentary reach out. So, of course, here you could say that a lot. Any comments about that? I mean, there's a lot that you can't find here in the top three, of course. I think number one, that's my personal opinion though, this is probably the, if I recall correctly, is the application that is used mostly by parliaments across the globe, the speech to text. In the meantime, the rest, are you missing something? Well, maybe a million things, but what would be your top priority that or the top application that you don't see here for the administration?
Well, I have one, but which is not necessarily pertinent in this context, but which is very pertinent for us, which is multilingualism and the support for translation.
Yeah.
So there you are addressing a case which is a monolingual.
But you're European Parliament.
That's what I said. It's maybe not necessarily relevant in this case, but for us.
How many languages, official language, do we have?
24.
24. Okay.
As much as India, by the way.
Yeah.
But
okay, fair enough. But yeah. Okay, let's move. I mean, let's do the whole cycle. We'll do whatever we have to do afterwards. Then it's parliamentary bureau. That's, let's say, the leadership offices and how they're dealing with things. We have AI-based process automation. We have a detection of fake texts. Interesting. We have finally AI-supported project management. So as said, this is the leadership's choice. What would you say about that? That's the office of the leadership. Do you think it's that they need that, or this is I don't know, just nice to have? Is something that not making sense to you out of this? Or if you were the leaders, what would you have more or else? Moving on to the next, number 7. That's research. That's me, and we have support with intelligence systems, search systems, and agents. It's again intelligent search. Well, that's what research does usually, and it's AI-based knowledge management. Are you contesting this, or do you think it's fair? Daniel?
For some of this, there's probably going to be like lightweight information research.
Yeah.
Done by AI. So basic knowledge questions are going to be distinct from complex knowledge questions. And you're going to want, one, a system of ticketing to manage it. And 2, you're going to want to have a way of actually resolving those questions. You'll probably also want the ability to predict likely questions that are going to come up so that you can prepare for them in advance, and to surface prior answers or to mush them together so that you can that falls into like knowledge services management a little bit, but like you already have you've provided an answer in some fashion, maybe in several places, and being able to pull it together, and then stupid things like reviewing the document to make sure your citations are right, to make sure that it's drafted
Yeah,
appropriately,
that's
looking
very
for tone,
valid.
all that, all of that contextual, so that you're not biased, so that you're those types of things as a review process.
Thank you. Let's move to the final two. So framework is a more general one, cluster, and you will see in the proposals as well. Data quality, all right, number one. Number two is the Parliament can reach many through its representative function, okay, whatever this might be. And third, transparency requirements for AI-based systems, and plus some more elaboration. So I don't even ask you for this because it's already too generic. But last but not least, we have here top 5 instead of top 3. These are the more general requirements that these people wanted to have for their parliaments: training and hiring of new staff, ethical considerations. So an AI portfolio, having an AI portfolio. Number 4, security analysis and for potential problematic areas. And finally, in this top 5, defining the smart parliament concept, what it is involved. So defining how we actually want our parliament to be smart. It's also an issue of how we prioritize and build our strategies in the institution. So these are more generic. I immediately close by presenting the original results. So this, not with the evaluation that we're going to conduct in further iterations as well. Look here. I have a visual here. So imagine these questions we did not evaluate only for the Brazilian subnational parliaments. We evaluated for Greece, for Argentina, and for Canada. These were the national parliaments. So this is a collection. These points here, they are the visual representation. Each point is one of the 200 plus proposals across the 2 axes. I think it's relevance over priority. And let's see, it has its meaning, because we ask exactly the same questions, we ask them to each one. And kindly check that the parliaments are not similar. I mean, if you would expect in the same parliament asking them 2 times to be the same results, here we ask different parliaments. And of course, we get, naturally, different results. What does this mean? Of course, I will spare you with the analysis. It means that as we move from Greece, I think it was Canada, to Argentina, to the regional parliaments of Brazil, somehow, and moving forward with time, meaning the Brazilian colleagues had at least 2 to 3 years more experience in using AI, they feel more confident. They grade higher statistically, respective to the other colleagues. This is something, of course, that is not easy to be explained. But I will close with that, saying that we will repeat this hopefully soon with other Brazilian colleagues from the local legislatures, hoping that this research will indeed find its way back to the leadership of these parliaments, so that they can use it for prioritizing their own systems and their own solutions. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm open for any discussion now or later.
Agradecemos o painelista Fotis Fitsilis, do Parlamento Grego, e da Austral University, pela grande exposição. Para encerrar o nosso primeiro dia de evento, convidamos os participantes para a visita guiada ao plenário do Senado Federal. Solicito que recolham os seus pertences pessoais, pois não retornaremos a esta sala hoje. Nesta visita ao plenário, seremos conduzidos pelo anfitrião desse evento, Danilo Aguiar, secretário-geral da mesa do Senado Federal. Após a visita ao plenário, todos estão convidados para um happy hour, cuja localização está no grupo do evento. Muito obrigada.